Hi there, my name's Stephen Colber. I'm a high school teacher from Melbourne, Australia. This video is my attempt to combine my two interests of flip learning and gamification. So this is an escape or puzzle room that I've designed in my own house, and as much as possible I'll try to make it possible for you to complete through the internet. So your task will be to follow through the video, and when the screen stops and pauses, and it will make itself quite clear when you should do something rather than watch the video, you pause the video and that will take you go down to the description or the comment section of this video and you click on the link that is clearly detailed for that item, and that will take you to a Microsoft form where you can put in the password or the combination or the code word or what you think the solution to the puzzle is. Of course, if you just keep the video playing and don't pause it, the video will then solve the puzzle for you and you'll move on to the next stage. At the end of the video there will also be a sort of quiz test at the end which will test your understanding of the concepts of the game, including the narrative elements that went throughout the piece. The video will be broken up into three sections. This section is sort of the discovery phase, so you can see over my shoulder that this is what the room looks like and the items that you locate in the room. Obviously this is sort of something you lose not being in the actual physical space, but I've tried to sort of emulate what it felt like by speed run, sort of through the room and finding everything that you need to locate to complete the puzzle. The next phase is sort of the overview where I'll explain your task, your objective and who you are in this story. Second phase will be all of the narrative elements will be outlined in no particular order. These are not clues, they are hints and they will be suggestive of the final solution and also suggestive of how to solve some of the actual puzzles, but they're not essential. If you're in a hurry or you don't want to get involved in the narrative of the story, you can just skip through this section, and I'll probably put timestamps in the description as well. And then the final section will be the actual puzzles themselves. So you'll go through a sort of overview of what you're looking at will be described, and obviously I know how to solve the puzzles, so a lot of the confusing sitting around wasting time will be removed. If you're interested in anything that happens in this video, let me know in the comments, or if you'd like me to explain how I did it, why I did it, or point out any mistakes or errors I made, or any ways that you found it difficult or confusing, please let me know, as this is, you online will be the second person to ever complete this puzzle, the first being my wife, and she helped me iron out a lot of the playtesting bugs, issues, I guess, difficulties, so I think it should be good to go. But let me know if that's not the case. 9th of the 3rd, 2012. My gambling has ended with the trailing off of my salary. It seems at last the accounting section has noted the discrepancy and removed me from the teat. My pilgrimages to the casino must now come to an end. Nothing but reference books and study. 32nd of the 12th, 17. Obituary, 91 years old, US citizen, born 1926. 7th of the 10th, 2017. I've just received my final key items that show that the Whig path was nothing but a red herring. This narrows down the party to be considered considerably. It seems only 3 can be right. All the time I spent like a pedant bothering with the shine of modernity, all for naught. Oh, but I must press on. 2nd of the 10th, 98. My reasons for arriving in Melbourne remain fuzzy, but I gather from my passport documents that I am something of a protected species here. I've never thought of myself as one in need of political protection. My new moniker will stay with me even as my documents are destroyed. I will need to find a place where I will not be disturbed further. 9th of the 5th, 14. It seems like someone enjoys number games. I keep finding these numbers reoccurring in my research. 65 and 45. These two numbers are often at opposite ends of things and always preceded by 2 others. I'm not a numbers man myself, so there is meaning that will likely elude me. 4th of the 9th of 2004. The whiskey and cherry blossoms have put me in a light-hearted mood. I've left my anxious searching to one side as I try to comprehend another culture. Taking note of key passages passes the time and lets me consider a different future for myself. One where my goals are realised even as I die. As, even if one's head were to be cut off, he can still complete a single action with surety. 4th of the 9th, 2000. It's odd to spend so much of my time on things that I once knew, but have since lost. The collective lineage must be revealed, though I fear I will not be able to be the one to make it known to the world. My isolation, once an affectation, a choice, no longer seems able to be changed. Once derided for these ideas, they now form my prison. 19th of the 12th, 12. When the collated history of the Whig Party shows that 4 US presidents belong to this party, this means it is possible that the 4 are all drawn from the one party, though this seems statistically unlikely. 25th of the 7th, 99. Miss Watkins must think me simple, spending my time looking in books and studying things that any elementary student knows. Perhaps those that can find my writing will be able to use them to reach standing and avoid the mistakes of of aspirations that left me to rot in colonial outpost. 26th of the 10th, 01. Why did I ever make the mistake of coming to live in this jive? When I could have stayed the course, kept my challenges to myself, and become the fifth member to reach standing, I would have been better served in prison. The old biddy Miss Watkins only allows me 3 phone calls per week. She's always careful to put the phone at the farthest reaches of the house, though this does guarantee me the level of privacy that I crave. 19th of the 11th, 03. I believe I have uncovered the first of standing. Picking over my own notes leaves me confused. The stitches have fully closed over now, but it seems my hairline may never grow around the ugly scar. I look like a Benedictine monk. The first of standing is definitely a case of hiding in plain sight. If the collective is capable of covering something up of this magnitude, I am truly lucky to be alive. Obituary: Richard Bloomington, 1962-2017. 91 years of age, man of the people, died on the 32nd of December, political agitator, collector of literary oddities, Democrat, Wisconsin, emigrated to the Australian Embassy, researching ancestry, believed large fortune, creating simple puzzles. I have a lead for you. We found this small room within a residential home in Laylaw. The elderly gentleman who let this room passed away, and the obituary for him reads as follows. We published this on the 1st of the 1st, 2018. It wasn't until yesterday that our obituary editor Frederick noticed something odd about the obituary and made a connection between it and the person who let the room that you are being sent. Richard Bloomington, avid political agitator and collector of literary oddities, 1962 to 2017. Richard Bloomington, 91, Laylaw, died on the 32nd of December. He was the last member of his family to perish, with no known relatives or connections. He tenanted a small room despite the large fortune he was believed to have been the recipient of. Having made his mark on the political scene as a Democrat in Wisconsin, his arrival in Australia under the now defunct political agitator visa was heralded at the time as a new challenger to the leadership structures here in Australia. This expectation was never realised, and it is believed that he lived as a relative recluse in Laylaw. The homeowner there, Jemina Watkins, noted that he spent the last of his days researching his ancestry and creating simple puzzles. As normal, take a note of this strange man's character that you unfold from his personal belongings that you locate, and any fragments of his journal that you may locate. As the room is part of a private residence, you only have 1 hour within which to locate the 4 leaders of whatever group he is involved in, collect as much information about him as possible, and complete your article detailing his involvement with the group and his possible motivations. We have provided you with a copy of the contents of his P.O. box that was searched by the police and handed over to us. They have no interest in this matter, as the coroner's report showed that Richard died of natural causes. Find out as much as you can about this man, his connections, and file a report for us detailing all that you can learn in regards to this matter within the hour you've been allowed by the homeowner. Within the pack, you'll also notice we have an image believed to be Richard Bloomington. Folded up underneath that, we have a list of all of the presidents of the United States of America up until now, and underneath that is a document that you will complete as your final assessment of his affiliations with the group that we at this point do not know anything about. So it asks you for their name, their party allegiance for the first 3 members, then it asks you what the name of the 4th member is and what party allegiance he has. Okay, so this is what your puzzle is. We have a little post-it note that reads 3 turns, find $60 in Washington seal. We have a locked box with a 4-number combination, and your task is to work out what the combination is, and we're also looking out for perhaps anyone that could be involved in this man's organization. So our first page looks like this. The second page looks like this, and these will appear on the screen in a bit better quality, and they'll be in a separate document you can download in the description, and all of these pages will be available. So basically the entire start of the dictionary is what you're looking for, and keep in mind the clue which was listed there. Cool. Good luck. Okay, so you found the information you needed, you solved the combination which you put in the document. Now you're moving on to the next section. So this is what's inside our box. Alright. We have a copy of Hajikuri, the Book of the Samurai, which notes draw your sword. We have an article for you to read over, a very short article. We have an elephant. Hold on. An elephant with something in the bottom, which I will unscramble for you. We also have a sword. So it seems obvious to me, since I made the puzzle, that we need to draw our sword as it says. Sword reads the number 59, which will direct our exploration in the book. And keeping in mind that your task is to solve a new combination based on the information that we're collecting here. So it's tricky for us to read. It says, find an old, define it, reference among the files. We have a little eagle there and 5 stars, which might indicate we're looking for a 5-number combination or something else. Then this document will be available in the Puzzle 2 files, as will some key pages from this book that might be of relevance to you. Okay, so we've got a couple of documents that give us a whole number of pieces of information, and here we have a 3-number padlock, all numbers, no letters, for us to solve, and that will get us into our 3rd puzzle. So look back over the documents we've got so far, which could be puzzle 2 or puzzle 1, and you're looking for information related to a 3-number sequence. Okay, so well done, you solved that puzzle, got out the combination. This opens our next little box. So we have a donkey, which does that, good to know. A piece of paper underneath, which reads friends. Guess that's that way around, 165. Got a black light, cool. Doesn't look especially good. Then we've got this piece of paper here, which will be in the Puzzle 3 documents for you to look over. It's cut off. Something, maybe there is nothing new in the world, maybe, except the history you do not know. Something about history. We've got here P128 -- rectangle P129 history, so that probably relates to our dictionary. Let's see if we can have a look at our so we've got here a shape, something like I don't know, picture. We've got here 3 letters, 2 stars, and it tells us this is probably likely a clue for our next combination. Line, line, star, star, line, huts. 3 letters, 2 stars. Okay. So using those clues and this sort of a reference, we'll have a look in the section of our dictionary that says history, and we'll see what we can find out, and then everything that may be of use will be available in the documents there. So this is what the containment for puzzle 4 is and how you will solve puzzle 3. So we have an interesting type of lock here. The first wheel contains these following letters. The options are there. The second wheel is also letters and it contains these options, including arrows. U, Y, E, all of the vowels are available here. So just to reiterate, the first wheel is M to L, or some combination of those. The third contains stars, triangles, circles, arrows up, down, left, right. Likewise the fourth. And the fifth is again vowels and arrows. So using the clues and the black light information you've looked at, that should give you something to go on. Okay, so you've opened the combination, which lets us into the little cat carrier we have here. Before we do that, we're going to look briefly at this little packet we've got here. It contains a list of possibilities and a document that is very complicated for us to read from this camera. So that'll be available to be the first thing in documents for you to look over. It's very damaged and contains kind of lots of information. Again, consider this part of the narrative rather than hints. It contains information that would be very useful, but it is not necessary rather to complete the final puzzle, but it's definitely a good hint. And here's the cat that would like to go inside the container. Opening her up, we see another document. This one is directly clue related despite its similar appearance. It looks like we've got something we might need to combine. Okay, so this is our final puzzle. And keep in mind that you've been given a lot of documents throughout this puzzle, and that what you are looking for is members of a group, as well as trying to work out who this main person is, as well as simply do what you need to do to find the code for the next clamp. So here, 4 of these are alphabetical, alphanumeric I guess, not alphanumeric, the other way around. Alphabet based, they're letters rather, let's keep it simple, and then the last is numbers. So with that in mind, we'll be able to go through the next thing. So you've undone the 4-letter, 1-number combination. You've undone the clasp thing. Put something in here. Very old sort of tin. Got something which looks like the other side of the document we got when we arrived. And we have the last of his money, it looks like. So let's read it and try and work out all the last pieces of information that we need to know. So it reads, my true obituary. We have the collective, Manny Roosevelt, 1926 to 2017, 91 years of age, a little diagram of the circle with him at the center. Disgraced politician, believer of conspiracy theories, man of few means, died on the 31st of December by means of gas inhalation. I've got a little note here with an arrow connected from the other side of the document which says this was only to pique your interest. Sorry. I'm the person whose rise to political power was thwarted by a group within, I'm not sure what those blue lines mean, within the political system but also above it, working both sides of politics to get their goals achieved. I've outlined within this room the details of this group and its most famous members. I trust that you'll have the means to make this information public and expose the group known as the Collective, who ruined my life, ended my career and banished me here to Australia. Along the side we have goal to be the 5th member to gain standing. So that should give you enough information to complete the final clue sequence, and then you'll be able to attempt the quiz, which is based on the narrative and how well you've understood the underlying effects and the purpose that this man had in his life.